Hello, everybody. It's Tom Stoukas coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario on December 30th, Tuesday, December 30th, almost over 2025. I hope everybody's having a nice night. So, what's the main theme on my social media today? What they're feeding me today? It seems like it's going to be a popular topic. Two things, popular topics in 2026. Is the first one is the it seems like concerted effort by governments in the Western governments, Western countries, to go that they're gearing up to go after white dudes who say mean things about or say bad things about mass immigration and the policies of multiculturalism and all that. They're going to make all these laws to go after them in 2026 instead of the rapists and murderers and terrorists and drug traffickers. Their focus is going to be on white dudes who criticize government policies on immigration. It seems like the big push. And then also getting a lot of stuff on my feed on Alberta independence today, the last couple days. Now, is it a thing, or is it just like a part of the algorithm, just like a fake push? Who knows? But I noticed it. It's pretty constant. But it's going to be interesting. The Alberta independence thing. I think it'll be very difficult because there's people in Alberta who'd be they're going to do a lot of scare tactics during the campaign about like pensions and all sorts of things, like to scare especially the older people. Plus, you got a lot of non Albertan, like recent arrivals in Alberta who will most likely vote no in a referendum. There's going to be a lot of money poured in. So it's going to be a uphill struggle for the separatists. But also, it's like, are they going to just do like, a thing I haven't heard from Alberta separatists is what their immigration policy is going to be. Like, they talk about everything but immigration. And, like, if you're going to be an independent country, you should have an immigration policy. So if they're just going to be, instead of a multicultural third world shithole in a bigger country like Canada, or are they going to be multicultural, smaller multicultural shithole in Alberta? Like, if they're not going to have a different immigration policy, then there's no use even doing the separation or separatist movement. But I haven't heard anything from them on that or with their idea of that. Who knows? It's crazy. But it'll be a lot of news stories about it in 2026. So those are the two things. Very interesting stuff. So let's just go to my X feed right away. Usually there's not a lot of huge news. All the government officials are all enjoying their Christmas and New Year's, but I'm sure it'll heat up in the new year. So, oh, I lost my video. There we go. This was a podcast in the UK called Heretics, and the host is, I don't know what his name. This is the host. Who's his name? Gold something. His last name's Gold. He's a very this is a, what's his name? Anyway, this is what he said. I thought this was interesting. He was debating an ethno-nationalist, so a guy in the UK who's like, UK's for the he wants to remigrate non-UK residents, like we do in Canada. We want to get rid of mass deportations, basically. So this is guy. This is what he says about it.
Will become a minority and will probably go extinct. At some point, unfortunately, white people, and I count myself among them, will become a minority and will probably go extinct.
Yeah,
Welcome to
that's
the
crazy. This is the reason I like this clip is because this is how they think. The people that are in favor of multiculturalism, diversity, and mass migration from totally different cultures into Western countries. People like this, I mean, he's Jewish, so he can go to Israel if he wants to get away from all this diversity. But we're stuck with the diversity. So it seems to be the prevailing attitude that it's okay to demolish white people at every turn going into 2026. I mean, if you said that about anybody else, any other group, it'd be bloody murder. So this seems to be the thing to do, the thing going on heading into the new year. And maybe they think, it's too late now. The process is irreversible, so now they can just say it out in the open. So, well, I mean, you hear this all the time, stuff like that. White people going extinct. Next post here. All sorts of good news. This clip's been going around. It's some dude in a Lexus getting food from the food bank in, where is it? Doesn't say where. Does it say where? Oh, Brampton, of course, Brampton. So.
Yay!
It's pretty crazy, but yeah, it's a food bank. But the food banks have been hit hard this year because people who previously were, lost my picture. People who previously were very enthusiastic donors to food banks every year stopped because they heard they're running out of food because all these foreigners, students, student visa holders were coming and taking advantage of the free food. So this is kind of like a good example, and the food banks need to do something about this because it's really going to hurt their operations. It's all about image. It's all about perception, and if the perception is that the food banks are being abused, they're not going to get donations. So they got a lot of work ahead of them. No wonder people stop donating. Next post. Jeremy McKenzie. This is a desperate man. I don't know what's going on. Did Pierre go on Truck Driver Pleb's podcast? I don't think so. This looks like, I don't know. I haven't seen anything about it. Maybe it's just AI. AI is going to be a tough one in 2026, the AI images and videos. Next, Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand says she told her Ukrainian counterpart today that decision about Ukraine's sovereignty must be made by Kiev itself. Yeah. Then we should stop sending them money. They should stop stealing money from Canada. Traitors. So yeah, when you don't want to make a peace agreement with Russia, but you want to keep bugging us for billions of dollars, then there's, you can't have sovereignty. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't fight the war, expect everybody to, pay for this war. Whatever, it's a mess. But our policy, the government policy in Ukraine, just to keep supporting this corrupt globalist war, it's horrible. And Pierre hasn't said anything about Ukraine. they're right on the same page as the liberals. But yeah, they're going to be determined to keep this war going through 2026. Looks like it's going to keep going so far. Next post. End stage of society is when invading foreigners loot your countrymen with the government while the government watches and laughs. We had a good run, but this really only goes one or two different ways at this point. Yes, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. The center will not hold. I think 2026 will be a kind of like a tipping point a year. It'll tip one way or the other, but it's got to tip sooner or later. Next post. If anyone thought for a second Zelensky was looking for a peace deal, they are severely mentally challenged. Of course, they were going to keep escalating. Do you think the talk of war preparations by the EU for last month was just lip surface? They want total destruction. Yeah, there was a report that Ukraine tried droning Putin's residence in like his out of Moscow residence. So sounds like they want to keep this war going. Let's keep a war going with Russia. Let's make it bigger. Why not? Stupid. Next, Don Cherry. The firing of Don Cherry was a turning point. Yes. He didn't even say anything that bad. All he said is "you people." If you see on X, a day on, like an hour on X, sit for an hour on X, you see way, way worse than what Don Cherry said. And he didn't, I don't even think it was bad. But it's interesting too, Pierre hasn't said anything about Don Cherry. Or none of the conservatives have. They've left him out. Because the conservatives and the liberals are one and the same. That's another example. They're on Ukraine, on COVID, and on Don Cherry. Let's see what this video on Dominion Society did. Before you people got him fired. You people, yes. Yeah, they did Don dirty there. They got rid of him good for nothing. Okay. Next. Shit. I lost my color here. All right. What's going on here? There we go. Next. So yeah, liberal representative democracy, which is what we're purported to be in right now, where we elect representatives to represent us and not steal all our money and import millions of foreigners into Canada. That's, liberal representative democracy is basically cooked. So I think the next generation of voters, I said this yesterday too, the younger voters, they're going to have to decide, are they going to go globalist with a globalist multicultural surveillance state, which we're heading in right now, or nationalism and remigration of foreigners, which has been basically not allowed. You're not allowed to be a nationalist because the Nazis were nationalists, so you can't be a nationalist ever. And remigration of foreigners obviously entails a lot of upheaval. So, but the status quo, liberal representative democracy, I think it's pretty well cooked. It's all right to say it, but it's not our fault. They corrupted it. Our traitor leaders corrupted it to the point. The institutions, they corrupted all the institutions, so it's not our fault. I thought this was a good meme. Canada to rename itself Ukraine to trick the Prime Minister into supporting his own country. Yes, that's crazy. They destroyed Canada. They destroyed Canada with all the taxes and environmental BS. But let's give billions of dollars to a corrupt country on the other side of the world. Anyway, here's Dominion Society. It's time to end the failed experiment of multiculturalism. Decades of official multiculturalism have divided Canadians, eroded our common identity, and fueled social fragmentation. It's time to chart a new course. Repeal the Multiculturalism Act. Replace it with a National Cohesion Act affirming Canada's founding as a European, Christian, English, and French nation. And taxpayer funding for multicultural programs, millions of dollars for that. Billions, not millions. Ethnic lobbies and diversity quotas. Schools, media, and government must promote assimilation and shared Canadian values, not identity politics. Yeah, like that's going to be the nationalism route if people... But it's going to be difficult to get rid of all this stuff that they put in. They know it too. They have entrenched all this multicultural and diversity. They've blessed us with it. All right. Next, Japan's birth rate set to break even set to break even the bleakest forecast. So yeah, they're losing people. A shrinking nation can survive and eventually recover. A nation destroyed by multiculturalism cannot. Yeah, so basically they're saying, oh, we're not having enough babies. And they say this in Canada too. We're not having enough babies, so let's import a bunch of people from India and Africa because we're not having enough. And like, that makes no sense. And everybody knows it makes no sense. Because, populations go up and down. They've done their best to encourage people in Canada not to have babies and other Western countries. So, yeah, this birth rate stuff is crazy. We should be encouraging people to have kids, but you're telling them for 30 years, 40 years now, don't have kids. Especially white people don't have kids. Speaking of this is an interesting video. I don't know, this is in Ireland. Look at this. Like, how's that even possible? Like, how the hell did they end up in Ireland? That's Ireland. All right. That's crazy. All right. Here's Alberta. So lots of Alberta accounts popping up on my feed. Let's see what this says. Alberta doesn't have to go down with the ship. Choose prosperity. Choose a better future. Choose independence. Yeah, I get it. The way Canada is, they have nothing to lose by being independent. But if they're going to continue the same immigration policies, what's the use? Yeah, they might have an extra pipeline or two. But who cares, So, even now, that population, foreign population, could actually prevent the separatist movement vote from victory. So, it'll be interesting. But I didn't see anything in their platform about immigration. It's like is banning immigration from India and Africa part of the separatist platform. Otherwise, the whole separatist thing's a waste of time because they're flooding into Alberta. All right. This is kind of disheartening. This is the far right party. It's a nationalist party in Germany. And the leader is a lesbian whose partner is an Indian migrant. You can't make that up. So you expect parties to come out that aren't the traditional parties to come out and listen to people like populist parties. And then you get this. Like, what the hell? What is she? The only thing she's going to do, because she's a Zionist too, the only thing she's going to do is like maybe make it harder for Muslims. But she'll let all the Indians and Africans into Germany, no problem. Or she says she's against mass immigration, but I guess not for her girlfriend. All right. Here's another example of third world Toronto. Because Toronto's turned into quite the third world capital. Toronto police arrest man accused of trying to light people's jackets on fire in Scarborough. That's just what we need in Toronto. I don't know if I get the star stories. All right, maybe I do. Or do I have to sign up? No. All right. A 47-year-old man from Toronto faces a handful of charges after trying to set jackets on fire on Sunday and Monday. So he's crazy, probably. How'd he do it, though? I want to know. All right. He light people's jackets on fire at Kennedy Station and at a mall in Scarborough. Okay, so on Sunday morning at about 6:30 a.m., a man approached someone standing on the subway station and tried to light their jacket on fire. The victim wasn't injured. The man... All right. What did he do? Did he just put his lighter up on the... Okay. So it doesn't say. I thought he might have thrown lighter fluid on the people, but he might have just shown up. He might have just used a lighter just to be a nuisance. Maybe he had one of those little torch lighters. Whatever. Toronto's screwed. Next. This is a chart. Alberta seeing the biggest population boom bust ever recorded. Data goes back to 1961. So, that's interesting. Okay. That's it for that. Let's see what's on today here. Okay, here's the Alberta Independence Town Hall. So, they mention everything like firearms, censorship, digital currency, constitutional rights, oil and gas, catering to the East, high cost of living, federal overreach, paying carbon tax, equalization payments. But they don't say anything about immigration. All right. There's a biggest GoFundMe scam in history. Yes. And there's Anita Anand, who's pushing the Minister of Foreign Affairs. This is funny. She last year, she thought it was a good idea to take a picture by the food bank sign, like it was a good thing. And this is in her riding. But meanwhile, she's shoveling billions of dollars to Ukraine. Well, her riding has food banks overflowing. Traders. This one's a good one too. Canada is the only country on the planet stupid enough to tax, cap, and ban the very industries that made us rich. Mark Carney calls it net zero. I call it national suicide. When the economy collapses and the lights go out, maybe then Canadians will wake up. So, yeah, it's like they're trying to get Alberta to leave with their anti-oil policies. Anti-gas, anti-oil. All right. And that's it. It's kind of a boring day heading into the new year. So, but I'm sure 2026 will be probably the tipping point of some sort with regards to all this state of Western society. Should be interesting. So the next broadcast will be, I think Friday, January 2nd, 2026. I'm sure it'll be lots of stuff going on heading into January. So until then, enjoy the New Year's celebrations, and we'll see you then.